Okay, hello, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. Getting back into tea again, you know, got a green one today. Today, I really wanted to talk about working, which may sound a bit weird, and I know it doesn't necessarily apply to everyone, but I'm going to try and make this a kind of general what I've learned. It's about working for myself, but also just that post-graduation life. I want to reflect on it, I want to tell you what it's been like. This is an episode of the Sleepover Club series where I talk candidly and honestly about things that affect us as 20-somethings, as millennials, or me personally, whatever. So last month I made a Sleepover Club video about sex. It's actually a really interesting topic for me because across all of my working life, in inverted commas, as a YouTuber, I've talked so much about sex and gender and kind of taboo subjects about relationships and sexual health. So yeah, in that video we talked about sex, sexual health, all sorts of things. And actually this week, which is the 24th to the 30th of September, it is Sexual Health Awareness Week, which is so important. It fits so perfectly with what I was talking about in that video because the theme for this year is consent, which, as you know, is vital, it's important, and it's a conversation we all need to be having right now. I think it's just wonderful that attention's being drawn to it, especially on such a public scale. So it is a great time to think about your sexual health and to get tested. And I've spoken all about that and how you can do it and how it's easy, it's fine, on that video and on a blog post I did really recently as well. I'll link both of them in the description. I'd really love for you to check out the blog post and the video and to go and get tested. If you follow the link below, you'll be able to find your local STI testing clinic this Sexual Health Week. Could there be a better time to get tested? I think not. So yeah, if you get the opportunity, please do check that out. And now onto the video. Let's talk about what it's been like post-graduation in working life for me and how I've kind of learned to do the big adult life. Let's start with graduating. Okay, so I graduated uni in summer of 2016. So I was job hunting and my boyfriend at the time was like, have you considered going full-time with this? Your YouTube stuff's doing well, you should really consider it. And I was like, haha, no, are you joking? I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep applying for jobs, but I'll put my back into doing YouTube for like three or 4 months, see if it can take off, and alongside that I'll try and get more consulting work. And by consulting, literally all that means, that's such a scary term, but literally all it means is sitting down with brands or whoever who want to, for me in this case it was who want to know more about something, want to know more about YouTube, want to know how to work with YouTubers or influencers, and they would pay for my time to kind of inform them of how to do that. So I did a little bit of it all. It turned out through that period that YouTube did take off. So I went on HMRC, I registered myself as self-employed. I was like, right, you're committing to this. I kind of regret going straight into self-employment. I wish I'd had actual kind of like a proper couple of jobs beforehand, because this is something I don't really think you should take that lightly, because it involves a lot of organisation, a lot of personal discipline, and a lot of working on your own. And I think I would have really thrived as a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old working in PR or marketing or anything really, like anything at all. So we're telling this story, aren't we? Sorry. So I'm working for myself. I moved back up to London. I don't know how. And then I get broken up with and I start therapy and I go sober, and that's all a lot to deal with on top of learning how to run a business, which is effectively what you are. And it was a lot. I'll say that straight out. And it could feel really isolating at times at the beginning. It really did. I remember I was crying to my therapist going, I am so overwhelmed. I'm stressed, but it's just like adrenaline because stuff keeps hitting at me. You know, like everyone needs to contact me all at once and I've got this huge inbox and I'm producing content, I'm making content. And she was like, Lucy, you're doing this all by yourself? That's ridiculous. What are you doing? She was like, what are the bits you're enjoying most? And what are the bits where you could use help? And I said, well, I really, really need help with advice, really. And also managing an inbox and having also someone to be like a professional negotiator. And at this time I'd been with an agent, but it just hadn't worked out between us. So I needed someone who would definitely have my interests at heart and knew how to be a responsible negotiator and to chase payments. So I found my manager called James, and he's wonderful and he deals with all of my crap, and I am so grateful to have him. It instantly honestly made my life like 15 times less scary because I was able to go, okay, there's someone there, be able to negotiate all of the long old email chains with whoever I'm interacting with about a thing I'm doing, and able to fight my corner in terms of payment and in terms of late payment as well. And also help me pursue new things that are different and things I have no knowledge in at all, but he does. I learned the hard way as well with a lot of this stuff with agents and things, that you will lose money. Like, I am still owed $5,000 by a brand, but the people I was working with on that won't chase the money, so I don't have any contacts there, so I just can't get the money. Working for yourself, you have to really relearn your relationship with money. You make a lot of money on a project all at once, and then you might not make any money for 6 months, and it's a case of balancing and not seeing any of it as your income. Financially, things have been actually okay, but also not okay. I have had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. I think a lot of people assume that in influencers and influencer life, you make a bunch of money. You get loads of free products, loads of money. That's not how my experience has been. A lot of time when I started out, I was chasing a lot of invoices, a lot of late payments. One brand took 9 months to pay me, which was really bad. That's not standard. I was in this position where I didn't know when I was going to make any more money, so I was desperately trying to hoard my money so I didn't run out, and I was so stressed and I was so worried about my income, and I felt really, really trapped because I knew I had a financially viable business that I could make money from. It wasn't that I was worried about everything declining. It was that I was stuck in situations with contracts and being kind of tied down by different organizations and stupid things that I'd signed, and I hadn't got lawyers to look over or whatever, because I just didn't know, that ended up trapping me, meaning I couldn't work with people, or I couldn't negotiate my own things, and I couldn't chase payments. I felt really, really at the mercy of everyone else. I'd like to establish this was all before I had my current management. They make everything run very smoothly. So yeah, there was this period of time where I was just like, I literally don't know when money's coming or going, and I'm so scared. And can I just say, I can't believe we're not taught anything about tax returns at school. How ridiculous is that? Because so many people do stuff that's outside of work that makes them some money, and they don't know how to declare it, they don't know how to tell HMRC even. For those of you that don't know, HMRC is Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, I think, and it's where we all put our tax returns in for. They investigate tax fraud, they manage the money. I'm so sorry about the light in this. I feel like it's done 101 things. You know, it's not unique to influencers at all. Everyone who's self-employed is chasing money and is scared. Like, they are scared. But yeah, I got super, super lucky at the beginning of this year because I was able to work with other people to make my work easier and better quality. There's a huge thing I learned when I started working for, well, just working in general, which is that you have to take time off. Your body doesn't work 24/7 constantly switched on. So probably what partially contributed to me having a big old cry to my therapist that time was because throughout 2017, I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, I made about 2 videos a week, and I was working all the time. So when I started working, I was getting up at 11. I was working from 12 through to about 8 or 9 p.m, often 10 or 11, every day. I did not take weekends. I did not take bank holidays. I worked on holidays. I worked all the time, but I slept a lot, or I went out a lot as well. Whilst I wasn't drinking for at least quite a few months of that, I was still burning myself out really, really badly. And it's not just me that does this. I know so many people that start YouTubing or influencing or whatever as a career, and they just burn out. So I realised, like, there was no balance in my life at all. Like, there was no balance. I also was on my own all day, and my housemates used to joke I was like the family dog, because they'd come home from work and I'd be like, hey, how was your day? Do you want to have dinner? What's going on? It was a lot. So I crashed really badly. Do you remember how many videos I made in that period? I tried to do veg and I tried to do Veda. So I made over 100 videos in about 150 days. And so by April, I think I made a video just like, I've burned out. And sure enough, I basically just had to I think I took a couple of weeks off, and I had to really reevaluate from like the ground up how I was gonna manage my life, basically, to accommodate for myself, to accommodate for my mental health, to accommodate for my physical health as well. Something that has helped incomparably is sorting out my sleep schedule. The beauty of being self-employed is you can wake up at any time, you can do your work at any time, but it's also like being a student because there is no parameter. There just aren't parameters, and you can work at any time, you can do as much work as you want to do. Bear in mind, this was a really long process. I didn't just suddenly sort my sleep schedule out. It was fucked. So I got this alarm clock, and honestly, I can't tell you how helpful it was, and I'd recommend it to anyone. It's not a cheap alarm clock, it's about £60, but it wakes you up with light. It has light, it has alarms, it has radio, and that combination just worked for me. It just really, really worked. I would recommend it to anyone. And yes, I got that, and suddenly I was getting up at 9 a.m, which was great, and then I was getting up at 8:30, which was great, and then I was getting up at 8. Nowadays I wake up between 8 and 9. I try not to put too much pressure on myself because it is one of the perks of my job that I don't have to get up at 7. I just have a much healthier relationship with sleep now. And then secondly, I started taking weekends. I now try and always take Sunday off, and then sometimes most of the time I take Saturday as well. And I took my first bank holiday in May. And I think taking a day off a week has been the best thing I do, because I don't know, I just do stuff in that day. Even if I just spend the whole day in bed, at least I'm doing something that's kind of a recovery. It's like a recovery time for me. Often I go out, I go to the pub with my friends, I go and hang out. I try and keep it as like low key as possible. If I want to go to a gallery, I'll go to an art gallery and see an exhibition. That was a really important thing that I implemented that helped. And then also bringing on other people. If I wanted to make a type of content, I tried to find people that could help me make it. My friend Becca helped me make a bunch of my content. She's incredible. I think also accepting that life is never going to be predictable was really important. It doesn't matter what your role is, what your job is. Your life is never going to go exactly how you want it to. And when I kind of stopped putting all this pressure on myself to make everything perfect and just took it step by step, day at a time, was like, just see what gets thrown at you today, my life improved drastically. So what do I do about being organised? I'm horrifically disorganised. Ask anyone, specifically ask people I work with. It's terrible. So I've accepted that I'm always going to be disorganised, but I try and put things in place that will help me. So yeah, my memory is just terrible. My memory is shocking. So I use my iCal for my digital calendar. I share a calendar with my management. That helps a lot. If it's not in my calendar, it's not getting done. I then bullet journal as well. I bullet journal every week. I sit down on a Monday morning. I'm like, what are you doing this week? I do little aims and objectives, and then day by day write out what I'm going to achieve in that day. Literally, if I don't do that, I don't get stuff done. I also have little daily routines that help me feel a lot better, and they're not big at all. Stuff like when I wake up every morning, the first thing I do is I go and have my breakfast, and I make myself a coffee or a tea. I often actually get dressed or ready kind of in the middle of the day, or like kind of an hour or so after I've woken up, or like 2 hours, because I like to sit down with a coffee or tea in my pajamas, because I like to be online when the rest of the world's online. I like to make sure that nothing is completely urgent and needs doing, and that just gives me really good peace of mind. I don't know why. A really good outcome of 2017, where I made no money and overworked myself and all of the things, is that I realised I had to diversify my income. So if you ever see me using affiliate links, which I do use and it is declared in a lot of cases, that's one of my income streams. Thank you so much if you ever use them. Thank you. I really, 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 really appreciate it. I also have AdSense and money I make off the just pre-rolls on videos. I also have the fingers crossed jumpers and the moon tea, and then whatever other project I'm doing at the time hopefully will make some money. So I have pre-rolls on my podcast, and that will hopefully generate just a little bit. Oh, I feel like I've just talked about so much stuff. It feels really good to get that off my chest, actually. I adore what I do. I'm so grateful I get to do it. It's been incredible, but it's also been a really big learning journey, and that's important to remember with anyone in any situation and any job. And I'm sure a whole bunch of you have had really similar experiences of, what am I doing with my life? Can I get my life together? But yeah, that impacted me really, really hard last year. So if you ever wondered why I suddenly stopped making 2 videos a week and I reduced my workload and I stopped making, even sometimes a video a week was too much, this is why. There's that foundational level, but I think I'm good with that now. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Honestly, that's been like a therapy session. I feel so much freer. Let me know what other things you'd like to see in Sleepover Club in the comments. I read every single one. And if you didn't know, I have a new podcast. It's called The Sunday Social. I'll leave a link down there. It's available on all good podcasting sites. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.